What's up, Heat fans? Your boy Ernest here. I'm back with a Miami Heat Talk video. Hope everybody's having a great day so far. I got a new foam for my microphone that I'm holding right now, so I hope the sound quality is a lot better, you guys. As I mentioned before, this is a brand new microphone that I've gotten from my wife for Father's Day. Can't return it. It was a pricey little penny, so got to try to make it work. So, guys, off we go on a Miami Heat Talk adventure. I'm very excited about this episode, you guys, because this is something that I'm going to do that's a little bit different. I was actually excited because I was going to surprise you guys and say, hey, this is the first video in a while where we're not talking about Damian Lillard. But 15 minutes before I started cutting this video, you guys, I got a huge update from hoopshype.com about Damian Lillard, and I wanted to share it with you guys real quick. Now, for those of you that don't remember the video I posted yesterday, and if you haven't seen it, take a moment, watch it right now. This is a video where I basically break down the trade requests that were done for Damian Lillard on Miami side and Portland side. It was reported today by Aaron Fentrez. Now, this is not an NBA insider for Miami. He works in Portland, in Oregon, the Oregonian, I believe he works for. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. But he is an Oregon reporter from Portland, and I'm going to quote exactly what he said on an Apple podcast today. And this is quote by Fentrez. If the Blazers can come out with this 4-round picks, at least 1 or 2 young talents, and a salary filler, that should get it done. I'm told right now, Miami has 3 first-round draft picks, Tyler Hero, a filler, and maybe a young player already as their offer. Like, willing to go with that. The question is finding that 4th first-round pick. And if you don't want Tyler Hero, you just have to find someone to take Hero to give you another first-round pick. Then you're at 4 first-round picks, at least 1 young player, and a salary filler. Maybe even 2 young players. I'm told it's pretty close. They just have to figure it out. They hadn't really spent much time working it out over the past couple days. So we know that, you guys. All the teams went to Summer League. A lot of the teams left recently. So conversations have happened. And if you guys remember from my video yesterday, that's pretty much what I said. Miami's not looking to give all their assets. It's a game of chicken. You got to wait and see what happens. But this, what I'm hearing from Aaron Fentrez, who is in Portland. This is not me. This is not Ira Winderman. This is not Ethan Skolnick. Dude's in Oregon, in Portland. So right there, you guys, that should tell you. This trade is going to happen sooner rather than later. I don't think Portland is going to hold out until training camp. Now, on my video yesterday, which, by the way, thank you guys so much. It's the very first video I have that's ever even sniffed 10,000 views. Y'all the real MVP, so thank you for that. But in my video yesterday, you guys, I specifically said that in order for this to happen, not only is Miami trying to hold things back, but they don't want to give away the whole farm because they don't have to. They don't have to bet against themselves. Miami never does that. We're a smart organization. Andy Ellsberg knows exactly what he's doing. Andy Ellsberg knows that he doesn't have to give everything. Why should you? There's no other teams competing for Damian. But it seems like Miami is willing to give that 3rd first-round pick because they want to get it over with already. And a lot of the people on my comments yesterday were saying things like, oh, it doesn't make any sense. Oh, why would Portland do that? And oh, the trade offers aren't that good. Well, Miami looks to be upgrading a little. They've added a 3rd first-round pick, and if you trade, and Portland can find another suitor for Tyler Hero. As we've talked about before, you guys, Brooklyn is very interested in Tyler Hero, and Brooklyn is willing to give a first-round draft pick. That was reported by Shams. So right there, you guys, that tells me that this trade is likely to happen. The only reason why it hasn't happened yet, you guys, with Brooklyn, and I'll be honest with you, everybody's agreed to the 3-team trade. But Brooklyn wants to try to find a suitor for Ben Simmons. I don't think that's going to happen. I honestly don't think that. But it's funny because I don't know if you guys noticed this today. Tyler Hero and Ben Simmons were seen working out together. I don't know if that means anything. Just saying. It's all speculation. But that's the little update I wanted to give you guys. Like I've said before, I fully believe Damian Lillard will be a Miami Heat. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. If Miami can go ahead and get Damian Lillard without having to give all of the young assets like Jovic, Caleb Martin, Jaime Jaquez, if we can get away with this trade with just giving up one of those young assets, Kyle Lowry, 3 first-round draft picks, and sending Tyler Hero to a third team, then we win. We win the trade, you guys. It's like I said yesterday, we're not going to bet against ourselves. So that's all I want to talk about with Damian Lillard, you guys. As I've told you guys, whenever I have an update, I will let you know. Another small update, you guys, Haywood Highsmith's contract was fully guaranteed for the 2024 season. You knew, obviously, that was going to happen. Whether Miami uses his contract for a trade or whether they keep him, Haywood Highsmith is an amazing defensive specialist, can hit the three-point shot. He's exactly what this team needs. I would love to see Haywood Highsmith on the team next year. And I think even with the Damian Lillard trade, with losing all these pieces, he's definitely going to get a great playing spot next season. So that's it. We're done with Damian Lillard. Now, moving on to the next part of this video, why I'm so excited. I wanted to do something a little different, you guys. Right now, the rumor mill is very silent. It's very quiet. This was something I've been wanting to do for a while. I want to talk about the top 5 Miami Heat heartbreaks of all time. Now, I'm going to take away some of the obvious heartbreaks because everybody knows what they were. 2011, 2020, this past season, 2014. 4 times that the Miami Heat made the NBA Finals and lost. I'm not going to add that. I'm not going to add Miami's loss to Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals. I want to talk about specific things that current Miami Heat fans probably don't remember, and this is a really nice reminder, or for the newer Heat fans that don't really know a lot about our history. I want to kind of educate you guys on the Heat culture. We've been running for 35 years now. We're an amazing organization ran by one of the best executives. So it's time for us to go back to time. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this. So I'm not going to give a top 5 list of ranking. I'm just going to go by year, like the longest to the closest, pretty much. So the very first heartbreak that I want to talk about, and this is something all my old school squad fans is going to know about, because we go back to the days when I was a little itty bitty boy. 1994. If you guys don't remember the Miami Heat in 1994, let me give you a little reminder. We were led by Glenn Rice, one of the best three-point sharpshooters in NBA. Ronnie Cycli, a walking double-double. Steve Smith, who was an amazing pest on the offensive and defensive end. And of course, you had baby Jordan Harold Miner, who was fantastic with the highlights and the dunks. Multiple-time slam dunk champion. This was a team that went 42-40 as the 8th seed in the playoffs. It was the Miami Heat's 2nd time making the playoffs in franchise history. They were only 7 years old. The first time they made the playoffs was in 92. We got swept by Michael Jordan. But in 94, Jordan was retired. He went to go play baseball. So the Eastern Conference was wide open. The Atlanta Hawks were the 1st seed. Then this was the team with Dominique Wilkins, Kevin Willis, Mookie Blaylock. It was guys that were defensive and offensive pests. This Miami Heat team, as an 8th seed team, went up 2-1. Everybody thought Miami was going to shock the world like they did 19 years later. But unfortunately, we didn't. Well, I said 19 years, 29 years later. Wow. 29 years later, like we shocked the world this year. But 29 years ago, we were almost there. We were up 2-1 to Atlanta, but unfortunately, they came back and beat us. And I don't have much memory from those times, you guys, but I wanted to bring this up because I know that I have Heat fans that have been watching us for a long time now. And I want to know, does anybody remember that playoff series? And let me know how you felt then. Take us back, you guys. Now, let's move on to number 2. Now, some of these heartbreaks, you guys, are going to be like multiple seasons. It won't be one specific year. But the second topic I want to talk about, and I'm sure a lot of us remember this, it was from years 1998 to 2000. 3 straight years where the Miami Heat were bounced out of the playoffs by the same team. Those damn New York Knicks. Now, you guys remember here in the 2023 playoffs, we got vengeance against the Knicks. That series was amazing. 2012, Miami bounced out New York in 5 games with the big 3. But in the 90s, it wasn't so easy for Miami. In 97, the Miami Heat finally became a contender with guys like Alonzo Mourning, Tim Hardaway, Deshaun Leonard, Ike Austin, Jamal Mashburn, Thunder Dan Marley. We had a squad. That team went 61-21, beat New York when we were down 3-1, but we lost to the Chicago Bulls because, duh, Michael Jordan. Anyway, 98, the next year, we play New York in the first round. In Game 4, Alonzo Mourning and Larry Johnson get into that fight. Alonzo Mourning is suspended for Game 5. New York win as the 7th seed. Heartbreaker. But you think, okay, Miami's going to turn it around. Alonzo Mourning was suspended. Let's move forward. 1999. Alonzo Mourning has a breakout season. He averages 20 points, 11 rebounds, 4 block shots a game. Alonzo Mourning just got himself to that next level. You can see it was prime Alonzo Mourning. He won Defensive Player of the Year in a 50-game shortened season. The Miami Heat went 33-19. First seed. Everybody saw the writing on the wall. Now that Michael Jordan and the Bulls are done, it's Miami's shot to do this. We go up against who? The New York Knicks, the 8th seed. We talked about this before, you guys, during the playoffs. Allen Houston hits that big shot in Game 5. The Miami Heat lose to the New York Knicks in 5 games. That was an unbelievable heartbreaker. I don't think I got over that all summer. But then what do you tell yourself? 2 heartbreaks in a year. Next year we got it. And in 2000, it looked like it was the year. Now, the Heat only won 52 games. Tim Hardaway was battling injuries. Jamal Mashburn stepped up. Deshaun Leonard was dealing with injuries. Dan Marley was dealing with injuries. But we also had other guys that helped us step up. Guys like Otis Thorpe, Clarence Weatherspoon. Anthony Carter broke out that year. I know all my old school Heat fans are going to be like, yo, Anthony Carter. Miami was doing it. Miami goes to the first round against the Detroit Pistons. Sweep. 3-0 as the 2nd seed. Then we go to round 2 against who? The New York Knicks. Take them to 7 games. This was a series that it was 1 win, 1 win. The Heat, the Knicks. The Heat, the Knicks. Game 7. 8 seconds left on the clock. The play was designed for Jamal Mashburn, who did not have the balls to take the last shot. So they gave it to Clarence Weatherspoon. Clarence fucking Weatherspoon. He misses the shot, and the Heat lose for the 3rd time in a row against the New York Knicks. I spent 1 week inside my room. Didn't want to leave the room. I'm from New Jersey, you guys. Crazy, right? I'm from Newark, New Jersey. I came down to South Florida when I was 4 years old. That shows you why I'm a huge Heat fan. I've been here since I was a little boy. But I have a lot of family and friends up in New York and New Jersey. And oh my God, I've never heard the end of it. So that was a huge heartbreaker, you guys. And for all those Heat fans, I'm sure you remember those 3 seasons. That was crap. And what sucks is that the Heat never had a chance to fight back because the next year we traded for Eddie Jones, Anthony Mason, Ricky Davis. Alonzo Mourning gets the kidney disease and the Heat fall out. That team basically just goes up in flames. You really thought that 2001 was going to be the year? You had Zoe, Eddie Jones, Anthony Mason, Brian Grant, Tim Hardaway, Dan Marley, Anthony Carter, Ricky Davis. You know, that team was stacked. And they lost in the first round against the Hornets. So that period, you guys, from 98 to 2000, 2001, that was 4 years of terrible heartbreak. And then we went 2 seasons in complete exile. And then what happened? 2003, we got our cornerstone, D. Wade. And that's the next guy that I want to talk about. We all know the 2004 season, Dwayne Wade's breakout year. The next heartbreak I want to talk about, you guys, 2005. For those of you that don't remember, In July of 2004, the Miami Heat traded for another superstar. It's funny, we're doing this thing with Damian Lillard now because in 2004 it was the same scenario. We traded for Big Diesel, Shaquille O'Neal. He wanted to come to Miami because he wanted to play with D-Wade. You had a lineup of Damon Jones, Dwayne Wade, Shaquille O'Neal, Udonis Haslem, Eddie Jones, the starting lineup. Keon Dooling, Christian Laettner. You get Alonzo Mourning in the middle of the season. Shannon Anderson comes. Oh, no, Shannon Anderson came in the next year. Excuse me. Michael Doliak is on that team as well. So this is a team that you feel can do some damage. Rasul Butler was on that team as well. Rest in peace, King. Anyways, so you felt this team can do some damage because they went 59-23. They swept the Wizards, and they also swept, oh my God, I'm brain farting. It was the Wizards in the first, the Nets. The Nets in the first round and the Wizards in the second round. Sorry, guys. So Miami Heat sweeps 4-0 in both series. You go to the Detroit Pistons. The Miami Heat are up 3-2 in Game 5. My graduation day. I remember that like it was yesterday. D-Wade gives all the stops. What happened? Game 5, Dwayne Wade goes down with a rib injury. A rib injury that normally hockey players get. The fuck? That was because Dwayne Wade was a beast. He would always go to the paint, get hit hard, wouldn't care. What was Dwayne Wade's motto? Fall down 8 times, get up 7. Excuse me, other word, wow. Fall down 7 times, get up 8. What's wrong with me today? Sorry, guys. Anyways, we remember that. I remember that because it broke my heart. Game 6, we lost by 30 points in Detroit. We could have closed them out with Wade. And in Game 7, in our home court, Damon motherfucking Jones loses the ball with 1 minute left and a turnover. Udonis Haslem gets blocked by a 4-inch taller Rasheed Wallace, and the Heat lose. Heartbreaker. Now, we did win the next year in 2006. You know, Miami made all those trades for Antoine Walker, Jason Williams, James Posey. You know, you get Gary Payton on the team, Shannon Anderson. You know, we get a squad. But we suck in the beginning of the season because of Shaq's injury. Shaq comes back. We get it together. The Miami Heat win the championship. It was great. First year on that banner. What happened after that, though? Did the Heat repeat? No. They won 44 games the next season. We make it to the playoffs and get swept by the Chicago Bulls with Ben Wallace and those guys. And then from 2007 to 2010, we're exiled. Nothing. You know, you have 2 first-round exits in 2009, 2010. In 2008, you have the 15-win series, 15-win season. So after the 2006, the Miami Heat fell to rock bottom. It fell hard, especially with the injuries to D-Wade. But we regrouped. We got it together. We signed LeBron and Bosh, won 2 championships. Then LeBron leaves. LeBron leaves. Damn, that hits you hard. Because you think with LeBron, Wade, and Bosh, it's a new dynasty. It's a new day. After 4 years, LeBron quits. He leaves. Why? He said all that bullshit about going back to Cleveland. And, you know, part of that is true. But I honestly feel like the main reason why LeBron left with you guys was because of Wade. Wade broke down in 2014, and I think LeBron saw the writing on the wall. And by that point, LeBron was the most dominant player in the NBA. He saw Kyrie in Cleveland, so I'm sure he felt, I can get it done there. Not knocking him. You know, you do whatever you want in life, and as long as you're happy, it's cool. But as a Heat fan, that hurts. But, you know, screw LeBron. We came back. We didn't make the playoffs the next season, but what happened is the next heartbreak that I'm going to talk about. 2016. This season, you guys, 2016, I don't know what it is. It gets to me because I felt like that was a Miami Heat team that could have won it all. You don't believe me? Listen to this lineup. In 2015, Miami traded for Goran Dragic. Hassan Whiteside stepped up and emerged that same season. So in 2016, we had a starting lineup of Goran Dragic, Dwayne Wade. We just signed Luol Deng, so he was our starting 3. You have Chris Bosh and Hassan Whiteside. Dear Lord, that was the best starting lineup in the NBA, in my opinion. But then look at the bench. Amari Stoudemire, Justice Winslow, Josh Richardson. That's just to name a few. You had Josh McRoberts on that team as well. This was a team that was looking like they can do it all. Gerald Green was on that team as well. You had a lot of high-quality, productive players on that team. They go to the 2016 NBA playoffs. But before they get there, heartbreaking news. Chris Bosh suffers blood clots. It was way serious in 2015. He suffered it in his lungs. They shut him down for the season. In 2016, Chris Bosh was balling, y'all, averaging 19 to 20 points a game, 9 rebounds. He just solidified himself as a three-point scorer. So Bosh was doing it. He gets a blood clot on his calf right before the All-Star game. Heat shut him down for the year. And I'm not sure if you guys remember, Chris Bosh was trying to get back all season. He was fighting. He was doing everything he can. That boy was a king. Did everything he can, but he couldn't get back. So the Heat go to the playoffs against the Charlotte Hornets. Y'all remember Purple Shirt Guy who D-Wade shut up, right? I'll never forget that. Say what you won't. Say what you won't. Miami Heat in the building. I'll never forget that game. D-Wade puts the clamps on the Charlotte Hornets, closes them out in Game 7. We move on to the second round. Second round against Toronto. What happened in that round? Hassan Whiteside got hurt. Hassan Whiteside suffered a leg injury. So we lost both Hassan Whiteside and Chris Bosh, our front court beasts. We lost against Toronto in 7 games. Dwayne Wade did everything he could, pulled out all the tricks in his bag. Couldn't get that one done. Breaks your heart. But you see that this Miami Heat team, fully healthy, because you guys, we were 1 win away of going to the Eastern Conference Finals and playing who? LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. And that was just one thing that I wish I'd seen. You know, there's things in the NBA that you wish you'd seen. LeBron versus Kobe in the NBA championship. What would have happened if Michael Jordan would have played a little bit more? For all you know, in 2000, had Jordan stayed with the Bulls, it would have been the Bulls against the Lakers. That's another thing. And one other thing I regret, I wish I'd seen, a playoff series where LeBron James went against Dwayne Wade. And in 2016, you guys, yeah, Cleveland was the better team. LeBron, Love, and Kyrie Irving. But remember, Miami Heat were 3-1 against Cleveland that season. D. Wade was LeBron's daddy that year. Just saying. I mean, you know, playoffs are different, but a fully healthy Miami Heat against Cleveland in the Eastern Conference Finals, that would have been something I would have loved to see. Shame it didn't happen. Last one, you guys, and this to me is probably the biggest heartbreak in Miami Heat culture. 2017. I've talked about it before, but let's quickly break it down. Before the season starts, Miami loses Dwayne Wade. Miami signs a bunch of people that you're like, what the hell? Dion Waiters, Luke Babbitt, James Johnson. The Heat bring in all these guys, and you're thinking, all right, we're going to tank. We're going to tank. Hassan Whiteside gets his new contract. You're thinking, all right, it's tank time. The Heat are going to play for a great draft pick. Whatever. It is what it is. And it did seem that way the first half of the season. The Heat go 11-30. We're all the way in the bottom of the conference. And even I was thinking, all right, let's go for the draft pick. It is what it is. We're going to rebuild. We're going to retool, and this team's going to get better. Something happened in the second half of the season. And it's something by the name of Dion Waiters. And before I move forward, I just want to give a little shout out to Dion Waiters. I'm a huge fan and supporter of Dion Waiters. When he was here and he got injured and, you know, he got out of shape and people were talking crap about him and, you know, they were making fun of his size in the media day. This dude deals with depression. And for those of you that don't know, or those of you that laugh at things like that, it's very serious. People get into certain things in their minds and they end up killing themselves. Look at Chester from Lincoln Park, and he's just the first one that comes at the top of my head. But you see a guy that has 5 kids, millions of dollars, all the fame and recognition in this world, and he kills himself. Depression's a real thing, you guys. So Dion Waiters, I know you're not listening to this, man, but if it ever gets to you, I'm praying for you, and I'm hoping you come out the other side. And I do hope an NBA team does sign you because you deserve it. Now, moving on. Dion Waiters was the reason why the Heat stepped up in the second half. For those of you that don't remember that huge game against the Golden State Warriors with Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. The Heat are down, but Dion Waiters hits a huge shot to win the game. Game winner. You're thinking it's a fluke, whatever. He does it again against Brooklyn. He does it again against Charlotte. He does it against Cleveland. Dion Waiters was showing that he was that guy. And he was taking Miami Heat to the promised land. And it wasn't only him, you guys. It was Goran Dragic, Hassan Whiteside, James Johnson, Justice Winslow, Josh Richardson, even Luke Babbitt was hitting a bunch of three-point shots. This was the very first season, you guys, that I would say Miami Heat culture was being represented. Because you knew about Miami's hard work, but you never really heard the word culture until 2017. All these guys were little dogs like Udonis Haslem. And here's the heartbreak. Because the Miami Heat went from 11-30 to 30-11, finishing this the season 41-41. The Heat won the last game of the season like they had to. But the reason why they missed out in the playoffs was because the Chicago Bulls won that game too. Tied record, but the Bulls made it because the Bulls beat the Heat during the season. I think they had the season series. But can you imagine, you guys, back in 2017, if the NBA had the play-in tournament? Now, Dion Waiters injured his ankle the last few games of the season. So that's the reason why, because Miami Heat did get into the playoffs. I believe we were at the 7th seed at one point. But when Waiters got hurt, we lost a few games, so that drove us down the bracket. Then we had that big game against Detroit where Hassan Whiteside got that game winner tip-in. It kept us alive, but we couldn't get over Chicago. But can you imagine if there was a play-in tournament? Let's say the Heat made it as the 8th seed. I'm not sure if you guys remember. The Boston Celtics were the first seed. The Boston Celtics went down 2-0 against the Chicago Bulls. Chicago won the first 2 games in Boston, but then Rajon Rondo got hurt. And Jimmy Butler and Dwayne Wade couldn't pull it off. So Boston won. That Miami Heat team going into the playoffs would have been a nightmare for any team, Cleveland included, because when Dion Waiters was doing his thing, we were beating the shit out of Cleveland. Can't nobody tell me different. That 2017 team is one of the biggest what-ifs in Miami Heat culture. And you say, oh, they can't do shit as an 8th seed. What happened this past year? I rest my case. So I'm sorry for the long video, you guys. This was something I was super excited to talk about. I want to get a little bit away from the Damian Lillard topic. That's not going to happen, of course, because little updates are coming around every day. But let me know what you guys think. Out of the 5 heartbreak times that I talked about, is any one of those particularly breaking your heart the hardest? Was there a particular year that it just crushed you? For me, it was the 99-2000 series as a young kid. But maybe there's another season that you guys know about that was a bigger heartbreak. Let me know what you think in the comments. Go ahead and take a moment to support the channel, you guys. Hit the like button, please, because that really helps me with the YouTube algorithm. If you watch the video, just click the like button. It only takes 5 seconds. And if you're not subscribed, what the hell are you doing? Click the subscribe button, click that notification bell, get all my updates, join the family, let's do this together. Heat Nation, I'm going to be giving you all the best videos that I can, and the moment I get another update about Damian Lillard, y'all be the first to know. I love you guys. Thank you so much for the support. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you didn't, sorry, but that is enough said. Let's go Heat.